Welcome back to Holly and Ash Tarot. For those of you who do not know, my name is Ash, and today we have a very fun reading that I really wanted to do. I've been watching a few of these recently just because I've been kind of thinking about children, and I really wanted to do one as well, just to see like what can come out of it. So today's reading is going to be, what is your first child like? Okay, so first child or future child. This is mainly targeted towards people who do not have children yet, or maybe who are pregnant, or who are thinking about having children. But if you already have a child, you can watch it too. I mean, why not? If a card pops out, if a pile pops out at you, then you might as well pick it, right? All right, so before we get started, I do want to say that I do have a Halloween tarot sale going on, and a lot of people have already signed up for it. So I know on the little banner, I'm going to put, maybe right here, I'm not sure yet. On the little banner I'm going to put up, it says there are 15 spots, but there's maybe like 11 left. Okay, so email me down below at hollyandashtarot@gmail.com, and we can get started if you want to book a reading to be given to you on Halloween night. Okay, all right, so if you haven't picked your pile yet, you can pause this video and give yourself some more time, but I'm going to get started with pile number 1, which is right here. Okay, people who picked pile number 1, let's see how your future child is going to be like. And we're going to get started with the tarot. I guess you guys only had 3 cards. All right, so we have Queen of Cups. We have Page of Pentacles in reverse. And we have 6 of Cups. So right off the bat, I see that your child is probably going to be very empathetic. I feel like they might be an empath for some of you. You might have a very empathic child. They know their emotions really well, to the point where they might stay in their emotions a little bit longer than they should. But, they have a very beautiful soul. They have a very empathetic soul. And so, they might be somebody who grows up to want to help people. They might want to save the planet. They might want to help animals, that sort of thing. But their emotions, even though they're very emotional, it's not to the point where they can't help themselves. They're very emotionally strong at the same time. They're very emotionally independent. With the Page of Pentacles in reverse, followed by the 6 of Cups upright, it makes me think that this person's not going to be friends with just anybody. They might kind of blend in with the crowd. They might be very popular, but they're not just going to take anybody as their friends, right? They're going to have a very close community of friends and family. I feel like this person, your future child, is literally just gonna wait. They understand that it's better to have a few close friends instead of a bunch of not so close friends. And I feel like they're gonna understand that from a very early age. That's just a part of who they are. And so, they're not really gonna mess with drama and things like that. They're not gonna feel lost in the tidal wave or anything like that. But I don't think they're gonna stand out in a way where it's your child's gonna be bullied or anything like that. I think they're gonna be fine. I think they're gonna be very social, and they're gonna be very happy and very open. But when it comes to the people they let into their life, they're gonna be very selective, and they might even wait until they start finding people who fit into their soul family. So it could be friends or soulmates or people they've had past lives with once they start growing up. we have tea ceremony, okay? So your child might be a little bit more traditional, okay? And I say that in the sense of like, you know, you might raise them with a little bit of old-fashioned ideas, okay? So like, I don't necessarily mean that you're not going to let them have a phone and an iPad or this or that. Like, you might not. But, you know, like, this person, like, I feel like they're traditional when it comes to relationships, okay? So, like, this person really understands that, like casualty isn't really their thing, you know? They really want somebody who gets to know them, and they want to get to know the other person. And especially when they get to dating age and they start dating, I feel like they're going to date somebody, whether they're male or female, because we have both color schemes going on here. Like we have golds and reds and pinks and greens and blues. So they can be male or female, but so, you know, like they really want somebody that has more traditional values. So, you know, they might be like more family orientated. They put family first. It's very important to them. They really want somebody who like actually like woos them and wants to get to know them. And that can go for friends or partners. You know, they want somebody who's going to like open doors for them and like really commit to them. I feel like, by opening doors, I mean literally and figuratively, okay? So like, you know, this person doesn't want somebody who's rude, you know, they want somebody who has manners, who has values, because there's somebody who has manners and values, and they really want somebody that kind of suits their core beliefs, and that goes with friends as well, not just romantic partners. But we also have the richness within, okay? So this person is just a very, very beautiful person within. But because this card is here, it makes me think that like you might have to dig. Like if people didn't really know this person, like if they didn't know your child, then they might just see what's on the surface, right? Like I feel like this person has a lot of emotions deep down, or they have more, like I feel like they have a lot to give, but they don't just give to anybody, if that makes sense. They wait until there's somebody, they're like, oh, okay, this person's worthy, and then I'm going to give my love and my knowledge and my time and energy to this person. I feel like this, your child is very dedicated. Your child is very intuitive when it comes to people. And so, you know, they're not going to get involved in any drama. They're not going to get involved with anything that can potentially hurt them. Like, I feel like they're very well versed, like just naturally, like they just know what kind of people are going to use them and manipulate them and what kind of people aren't. And I feel like that's a very important thing to note here. Okay. So, you know, to like some people, like your child might seem, like on the surface, they might just seem kind of like normal or ordinary, or like they just blend in very well. But underneath it, like, you know, they have a lot to offer, and that could just be like shyness, or it could just be like, you know, they're very selective. So we have Leo, I will. So your child might have Leo in their chart. Leo, moon, sun, Venus, Saturn. We have Saturn here. We also have Aquarius, which is, oh, sorry. Leo was I will, and Aquarius is I know. I feel like I got those mixed up, but I can't really remember now. So, you know, they also might have Aquarius in the chart, or they might have both Leo and Aquarius going on here. Sorry. I want to make room for all of them. We have Saturn return age. I did not make this setup easy today. And then we have messages, okay? So your child is definitely going to be super intuitive right off the bat. Like, they're going to be getting them spiritual downloads right out of the womb, basically. And then, yeah, so, okay, so they definitely will have at least Leo or Aquarius in the chart, if not both. Who knows? They can be a Leo with an Aquarius rising. They could be a Leo with an Aquarius moon. Like, Aquarius moons, like, I definitely kind of do get Aquarius moon vibes from this reading. Like, I don't know if you've ever met an Aquarius moon, but, like, they're a little crazy. But they're great. You know, they're fun. They're really fun. They're very emotional. And they're very quirky, and you know, they don't really let anybody, like, they don't take any shit from anybody, okay? So that's like kind of like the vibe I'm getting from your child. But with Saturn returns here, I definitely do think your child is going to act much more mature than they are. For a few of you, they might act like more immature. But I'm getting the vibe for this reading I'm getting is that, you know, they're probably going to act older than they are. Because green, the card color is green, and green is very healing. Like this person, your child could be a very old soul. They can be a very healing soul, or they might have healing knowledge just because they've been around for so long. And so they just act older. You know, I feel like they either act more like responsible and mature than other kids their age, or they're just a very old soul, or perhaps both. And then, yeah, like your person is definitely, or sorry, your child is definitely going to be able to talk to their guides very well. Like they could have psychic abilities if that is something that you or your partner have. Or if you're going to adopt, you know, they might have psychic abilities. But I mean, I guess technically everybody has psychic abilities, but not everybody, like, you know, has anything to do with them. So, but like, I definitely do think that your child is going to be very in tune with the universe and with the earth, and very connected. And even if they're not like talking straight up to their spirit guides, like, yo, spirit guides, you know, what's up? Or, you know, what's up, universe, or whatever you believe in. But you know, like, we always have guides talking to us and helping us to get to the next place and helping us figure things out in our life. And I feel like this person, like your child's subconscious really soaks that in and delivers that to them very nicely, okay? I do get more of a masculine kind of vibe from this reading, so even though there's a lot of feminine tones too as well. So I feel like overall your child is going to be really like nicely balanced with their femininity and masculinity. So, you know, you could have either or. You can have a daughter or a son. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for watching. And again, I want to remind you that I'm having a Halloween tarot sale. It's going to be $20 for an hour, which is pretty good. So if I do say so myself. And I will do a personal reading for you, and I will deliver it on Halloween day or night, depending on how many I have to do. But they're going quite fast already. So make sure to email me. My email is down below, and let me know if you want to schedule a Halloween reading. All right, guys, I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Hello, number 2. Let's see how your future child is going to be. All right, we have 10 of Wands in reverse. We have 6 of Swords. We have 5 of Pentacles in reverse. And we have the Star. All right, so instantly I can already tell, like, your child is not gonna put up with anybody's bullshit, like, ever. Like, straight out of the womb. Like, they may even argue with you, but like, you know, like, you know, they might be a bit of an angsty teenager, but they're not gonna let anybody hold them back. Like, they know they have a mission. They know exactly what they want. They know exactly what they're going to do. They know exactly why they're here. Whoops. And like, they're like, nobody's gonna get in the way of that. Like, nobody, okay? So when they have dreams, goals, ambitions, like, they're just gonna go for it. Like, they might even be obsessed with them to the point where you're like, oh, like, I don't know if this is healthy. But just literally, like, there is nothing you can do to this child to have them change their mind. Like, this child cannot be contained. This child cannot be trapped at all. And by, not just by you, but like by anybody, okay? So like, if anybody starts drama with them, like, I'm not seeing that like they won't fuck with people, because we do have the 6 of Swords here, which suggests that something did happen and then they're moving on. And so it seems like, you know, like they might kind of get in arguments with like friends or things like that throughout their life. And then they might be like, you know what, forget it. Like, I don't like you anymore, you know? Like, they're just that kind of person. Like, they feel like people are gonna, the people that try to bring them down, like, they're too strong for that. They're gonna be like, nah, like, you can't contain me. You can't capture me. Like, I'll fight with you a little bit, but like, you know, at the end of the day, like, if I don't win, I'm just gonna leave anyway. They just know what they want. And I feel like, you know, they might kind of argue their side a little bit so people can try to understand. But if people don't understand, then they're like, forget it, you know. It doesn't necessarily mean like they're going to be like fighting everybody in their school or anything like that. But your child is really, like, they're not going to let anybody hold them back from their dreams or their life goals or anything like that. Your child's very strong-willed. Your child is very independent. And your child isn't going to wait for anybody, honestly. We do have 2 women here, visibly. So you might have a daughter. And to me, these look like feminine hands. Yeah, so you might have a daughter. This might be a daughter. But yeah, they're definitely, they're a dreamer as well. So, you know, they might be somebody who's also into the arts. Like, I'm getting drawing and sketching for some reason. So, you know, if you notice that they're taking an interest in art at a young age, then you might want to like try to support that a little bit, because that might be something that is very important for them. It doesn't have to be drawing either. It can be anything from like cooking, from writing, singing, whatever it is, like whatever, like this person, like your child is going to be their true authentic self no matter what. Okay. So, you know, so I kind of get the feeling that it's like, with them, it's going to be like, it's either my way or the highway. But at the same time, it's sort of like, they're not like out to hurt anybody. They're just out to be themselves. And that's what they're going to do. Like, that is their mission in this life. We had the Centennial. Yeah, so like, nobody is going to push your child off their life path. Like, they are just going to go straight for it. Like they're made out of steel, like they're made out of stone. And I'm not saying that they're not emotional, because I do feel that there are emotional aspects here, of course. But, you know, like your child is just so self-driven, and I feel like they're going to be extremely successful in life and whatever they want to do. Because that's all they want to do. They understand that's all they're there for. That's the reason they're put on this earth, is to do some sort of mission. And they're going to fulfill that mission no matter what. We have immortality. Again, lots of pictures of women. So I definitely do think most of you will probably have a daughter. But we have immortality. So yeah, this person, your child. I'm sorry, I keep saying your person. I'm so used to love readings. Your child is definitely an extremely old soul. If you believe in reincarnation, they have reincarnated so many times, and that's why they're like no bullshit, kind of, other than maybe a little for like entertainment. You know, but I feel like they're no bullshit in the sense, in the game of life, whereas you know, they've been around for so long, they've had so many lives, now they know what they need to achieve in order to kind of level their soul up, and they're just gonna go for it. Like that's just what they're here for. But at the same time, your child is very wise. Your child is very loving and sweet. And because we have the symbol of the flowers here, and I don't know if you can tell, but some of these flowers haven't bloomed yet. I feel like your child definitely will open up to the right kind of people and the right kind of affection as well. So you will really need to learn your child's love language quite a bit. And we have time to restore. So, you know, even though your child is going to go forward quite a bit and they're going to really push for their dreams and their desires, they're going to know when to rest as well. They know how to balance it in such a perfect way where it does not exhaust them. They're never going to face burnout. And I also kind of feel like, you know, like if you have a baby, I feel like you're definitely going to be somebody who's going to really provide for this child, okay? You're going to have a very loving atmosphere, a very loving home for them, and you're going to bring them up the best you can. Like, I don't feel like you're going to be like a neglectful parent, like, oh, like, go to daycare all day or something like that, or like, here, go stay with your grandparents all the time. Like, I don't think you're going to be like that. And because of that, I feel like for them, this life is kind of like a vacation in a sense, where like, their childhood is going to be very good, their home family is going to be very good, and you're going to give them the tools they need to just grow as they are and just be who they are, instead of like dealing with all this other bullshit in life, like they don't have to deal with like a toxic family. They probably don't have to really deal with money even, like, you might be somebody who really saves for their future, like whether it's college or whatever else they want to do. And so like, I feel like you provide the kind of environment for your child where like they don't have to worry about any of that. They don't have to worry about growing up, because you're just going to help them with everything. So, I feel like their childhood is really going to be a breeze, and life is going to just be kind of like a breeze for them. It's like a nice resting period. So maybe your child has had some more harder past lives as well. And that's kind of why they treat it like, okay, I'm just going to get done what I need to get done and go. But at the same time, it's very restful for their soul to be around you and to be around your family. And also to be around the people your child chooses to surround themselves with. We have Venus, which is love. So yeah, I feel like your child really is loving, and also their life mission might have something to do with love. So again, it can be something about like helping a minority, or helping, like, fighting to stop racism, or fighting for animal rights, or helping global warming or something like that. Your child is very though they might be dramatic in some sense, like I feel like probably in a more, what's the word, I feel like in a conservative sense, your child might be seen as a little dramatic, but I don't feel like your child is, like, to them, they're not being dramatic, so like keep that in mind as well. But I do feel like your child loves very, very, very deeply. And the people your child does choose to love, like, they're going to be loved for life, so your child will probably have lifelong friends, which nowadays is not very common. So I do feel like that's very beautiful. And then we have endings and beginnings. Okay, so your child is going to have a lot of points where they're rediscovering themselves. They're going through different karmic cycles in their life, and I feel like it's just because they're an older soul. They're just trying to finish some stuff up, and that's why you being their parent is going to be absolutely perfect for them, because they're going to need that kind of support. And they're definitely going to go through many cycles and have many lessons, and they're here for it. I feel like they just really embrace that. Like, they know instantly, they know intuitively, like right out of the womb, or like, even if they're adopted, it doesn't matter who birthed them, like, they're just like this. They're just this intuitive about what they need to do in life, and they embrace it. We have soul as well. Okay, so I feel like your child is definitely one of your soulmates. And now, for some of you who are like, what are you talking about? I can't date my child. Like, soulmates are not just romantic. Okay, like, soulmates can be anybody, from children to best friends to parents, to grandparents, even to cousins. So, it's not limited to anything. And sometimes, like, when people just limit soulmates to just romantic partnerships, I'm just like, you might want to, like, broaden your perspective a little bit. And then, so, like, you and your child are definitely going to get along very well. You guys actually might be a part of the same soul family, which isn't, like, you can have a child and have them not be part of your soul family, if that makes any sense. But I do think your child is probably going to be a part of your soulmate family, or is just going to be a soulmate in general. Excuse me. And then we have blessings as well. So your child is definitely going to bring a lot of blessings into your life, and they're going to have a lot of blessings in their life as well. Okay, so they're going to work hard for it. and they're going to receive what they put out into the universe. And I feel like they put out a lot of very positive vibrations out there, and they're going to get exactly what they want. They're going to get exactly what they're trying to get out of life. And I think that's really, really beautiful. All right, number 2s, that's all I have for you today. Before I forget, I do want to say, I do want to remind you guys that I have a Halloween tarot sale going on for $20 for an hour video, which is pretty good. So if you guys are interested in that, email me down below. They're going pretty fast, so let's schedule a reading, okay? All right. Oh, and I will deliver the reading to you on Halloween. Okay, so thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you again later. Bye-bye. Okay, pile number 3. Let's see how your first child or future child is going to be like. So we have the Empress. So right off the bat, your child is going to be extremely intuitive. We have 2 of Pentacles. We have 9 of Cups. And we have 8 of Cups in reverse. Your child has a very peaceful sort of vibration. So they're going to be very educated. They're going to be very intuitive. They're going to really listen to their gut. They might even be a spiritualist or practice spirituality when they grow older. So, you know, that might be something you teach them if that is something that you're into. I also think your child is going to be very good at balancing things in their life, and especially balancing their finances. So I'm getting for some of you that, you know, like your child might grow up struggling with finances a little bit. Like, that's okay. That's not the end of the world. If anything, it teaches you how to be humble as long as you can live. And so I feel like because of that, like your child has learned some very valuable lessons about money and finances. And so, you know, they make sure to save for their future, for their children's future if they want children, and for like school and things like that. Like, they're really good about that. I feel like they're also very good at juggling like work and play and relationships and work and things like that. Like, they feel like they need to be very fair in their life to other people around them. But at the same time, like, I feel like your child might be an introvert in the future. Like, you know, your child is really going to love spending time alone. They might be really into reading books or watching movies or playing video games, like something with storylines, something that can help them reload and relax. And they're definitely not going to be somebody who doesn't want options that are given to them, okay? So, like, your child is going to take every opportunity that they can. They're not going to look down at things like, oh, I don't want that. Like, you know, the universe is offering me so much, but I don't want it. Like, no, like, they're going to know what's for them. And I feel like they're not going to take things for granted, basically. Like, that's just really how... sorry, I'm going to adjust this real quick. That's just really how they are and how they feel. Like, they feel very strongly about... you know, being really fair, not taking things for granted. I feel like your child will probably excel at school, in academic studies. So they might grow up wanting to do something a little bit more academic with their life. You know, that can be anything from like doctor to lawyer to like biologist, something with science even. Or like for a lot of you, I feel like your child is going to grow up to be a writer as well, because I feel like they're really going to learn to love books and stories so much when they're young. So far we have 2 images of women here. So you might have a daughter, but there's also 1 image of a man. So we will keep going and see. There are a lot of warm tones in this reading. There's also some blues as well, okay? So I feel like, yeah, you can either have a daughter or a son. I don't think it's going to be heavier. One gender is popping out more than the other right now. But we do have sharing your wisdom. Sorry, I got distracted for a second when I was thinking about gender. Sharing your wisdom, okay? So, and I'm putting it right over the Empress. Yeah, so your child is really going to be so wise. They connect to their higher self very, very well. And so, they might know stuff that you don't even know, or they might just automatically know stuff without learning them. Okay. And that's just because your child is very, very in tune with things, very knowledgeable, their brain works very, very well, and they're able to access all the information they want and need. And they're going to share that with the world. They're going to share that with other people. So again, your child might even grow up to be a professor or a teacher of some sorts. We have threshold protection. So your child really wants to protect you from something. They really want to protect you, your family, and I feel like they're also going to be very protective of their future partner or spouse, and also their friends. They feel like it's their job, okay? And it's because I feel like they are very good at reading facial expressions and reading the atmosphere. So when something is wrong, they'll know right away, and they'll be like, okay, well, I realize something is wrong. They could realize something is wrong with you before you realize something is wrong with you. And so I think they're going to know that as well. So they're going to take it upon themselves to kind of take charge in those situations and try to help you, try to help their partners or friends or whoever is in their life. I feel like they're emotionally strong enough to do that, and they also know how to protect. They know how to emotionally protect as well, okay? So, yeah, your child is definitely somebody who is very grounded and very wise and very protective and loving. That's funny because I was thinking this card reminds me of Cancer, and then we have Cancer, which is I feel, okay? So your child might have Cancer or water somewhere in their chart. We also have Taurus. So they also might have Taurus in their chart, but they're definitely very feeling. They feel things before they happen, basically. They're very grounded at the same time, though. We also have communication, which is air element. So they also might have air in their chart, which is very, very interesting. So, they might have an air sign and then a Taurus or Cancer moon, or they could be for Aries with Cancer moon and then Taurus rising or something like that. Or maybe they were Taurus with Cancer moon and Aries rising. But yeah, I definitely feel like they probably have more. I do feel more water and earth in their chart, but they could have air in their chart as well. They're very good at communicating and talking with other people and talking to people when people are upset. So they could even be a therapist or a counselor once they get older. And then we also have reinvention. So I feel like this is only going to apply to some of you. So, some of you might raise your child in a more poverty kind of setting, and as long as you actually take care of your child, I don't think anything is wrong with that. I grew up, my mother was sick and she couldn't work, and we lived on food stamps and things like that. But we had a very wonderful and beautiful family life. So, it can be something like that. And if that's true, then your child is really going to rise up and have such an amazing, beautiful life once they get older. They're going to work very hard. They're very good academically, so they might get scholarships to places. For those of you who are not going to raise their child kind of from the bottom up, then this child is really going to go through a very huge reinventing stage in their life, where their whole entire life just takes a turn out of nowhere maybe, and they just start becoming a different kind of person and growing into a very different person. And that's going to be such a huge turning point in their life, where they can start kind of going down the road they're on, or the road they're meant to be on, basically. And this can be because, like, maybe your child is too introverted or too shy, but they kind of need to, like, come out of their shell a little bit, because they do have the Cancer qualities, in order to fulfill their life purpose and learn what they're supposed to learn here on Earth. So that could be a big turning point for them as well. It can also be a turning point in the family that kind of really affected them in a way where they started just reinventing themselves in a different sort of way. It could be very many things, but I feel like it's going to be very, like, your child needs to go through this in order to become the person they're meant to become. It's a very karmic lesson for them. I personally believe, I don't know what you believe in, but I personally believe in both, like, what is it called? I am blanking. Like, I believe in free will, but I also believe that some things are just predestined for us, if that makes sense. So, like, you can choose different paths with free will, but I feel like there's always, like, some, like, checkpoints, I like to call them, in life, where, like, they're set in stone, like, you have to go through these. And even if you kind of, like, go on a different path where you kind of get away from that, like, the universe will always drive you back. And I don't know if some of you have noticed that as well. I personally have noticed that quite a bit in my life, and it frustrates me to no end, because, I try to power through things and just do what I want, and the universe is like, no, honey, like, not today. If it's meant to happen, it'll happen, basically. And I feel like that's what this is going to be. Okay. So I feel like, and of course, like, if you don't believe in that, like, that kind of thing, that's fine. Like, if you only believe in free will, or if you only believe that, our life is already kind of mapped out for us, whatever you believe in, that's totally cool. But I feel like this is something that your child really, really, really needs to go through in order to succeed, basically. All right, that's all I have for you guys. And before we go, I would like to remind you that I am having a Halloween tarot sale, which is going to be a 1-hour video reading for $20 USD. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get questions from you, and I am going to film your video and then give it to you on Halloween or Halloween night. Okay, so, I thought that would be a fun little festive thing. But if you're interested, don't wait to email me. My email is down below. Because spots are going very, very fast, and I want to get everybody in as much as I can. I can only allow 15 people because that's a lot of videos at the end of the day, and some people have already scheduled readings. If you did see or if you did listen to my message in the beginning. Okay, so if you're interested in that, please don't wait. So it would be easier for me as well, so I can film videos faster and have more free time in my personal life. But yeah, anyway, that's all I have for today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys again soon. Bye-bye. Hello, everybody who picked pile number 4. Let's see how your child is going to be like. Start with the tarot. So we have 10 of Pentacles in reverse. We have the High Priestess in reverse. We have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, which is very interesting. And we have the Tower in reverse. Your child is going to take on a lot of roles in their life, and they might even work with children or work with family or really want family. So they might grow up wanting children or being a teacher of that sort, or just like taking care of children maybe. If they have younger siblings, they'll definitely take care of their younger siblings and really take charge. And they work very hard for their money. I definitely do see that finances aren't really going to be a problem for them in the future, but burnout might be. Like this person, your child is definitely somebody who's very dedicated to that sort of stuff. But at the same time, I see with the High Priestess in reverse that they might struggle a little bit with school. School might not really be their thing. Like maybe it just doesn't really suit how they learn things, and so they might need a tutor or something like that when they're younger. But also I see that your child definitely is not going to be somebody who is traditional. Like they're going to be very unconventional, very eccentric, very different. They're going to they're not going to be afraid to just be who they are. And they're not going to really care what other people say. So, there might be people in your child's life that's like, oh, you can't do this or that, or like you shouldn't dress this way, or you shouldn't have colorful hair, or things like that. But like your child is not going to listen to it. It's very funny that we have the Tower in reverse here. So I feel like maybe having your child would be very groundbreaking in your life, and will really change your life in some sort of way, like the viewer's life, not like your child's life. So it might be something that's very, very meaningful because, oops, this is kind of a Halloween-y card, isn't it? I'm kind of sad I didn't get the Fool, or not the Fool, the Hanged Man, because in this deck, like, the Hanged Man is in like a pumpkin patch with like jack-o'-lanterns, and I'm like, that's Halloween-y. If you guys are watching this at a different time of year, like it's October right now, which is why I'm talking about Halloween. But if you can see in this card, there's a bunch of doves here as well, okay? Which is very, very beautiful. And then we have the moon, which is also, about emotions and things like that. So I feel like for you, having your child is going to be extremely positive. It's going to help you maybe even learn emotions that you didn't even have. It's going to help you feel very emotionally stable. I feel like your child is going to grow up maybe even being your best friend in some sort of aspect. They bring a lot of peace to your life. But I also feel like your child is not going to have any big tower moments in their life. Like they're going to have a very pretty steady life. And I think that's even because like it's so interesting, like all of these are in reverse, and I tried to pick some that weren't in reverse, and even when I tried to do that, like the cards would flip upside down as I was shuffling, and they would end up in reverse anyway. So I definitely feel like your child might also not really believe in the divine, or they might not have as many psychic abilities or things like that. But I sort of feel like they don't really listen. Like they don't really listen to their spiritual team, and I don't necessarily see that as like a bad thing. I feel like they might take a route in life that's a little bit harder for them. But they're all about the learning experience. And the reason I say that they might not listen to their spiritual team is because we have the Tower in reverse as well as the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, and then we have the High Priestess in reverse as well. Okay, so High Priestess to me is like being extremely connected to the divine and the Akashic records, or your higher self, and things like that, or being really true to yourself and to your roots. And like the Wheel of Fortune is just dealing with karma and like having the universe kind of like turn you in different places. So I feel like even if the universe tries to put your child in certain like lessons in life, I feel like your child just comes out unscathed. Like they don't really think about it too much. They're not going to let anything get under their skin here with the Tower in reverse. They're not going to let anything like shake up their foundation. Like I feel like your child is very independent, like on their own. So even if like let's say like one of those lessons is like the people they let into their life, and they don't let in very good people into their life, well, they don't really care if those people leave, if that makes sense. Like I'm just using that as an example. I'm not saying that's exactly what's going to happen. Like they're like, okay, well, if this person's going to stay, they're going to stay, but if they're not, they're not. I'm not going to be upset about it. I'm not going to be like heartbroken about it. They can have a breakup and they're going to be like, oh well, I'll go on to the best next thing. It's all relative. It's all a learning experience. Like your child is definitely not going to let anything let them down. And I do feel like they do have some karmic stuff to go through. They probably don't have as much karmic stuff to go through. So maybe they're a younger soul, or they're kind of like taking a bit of a break. But I actually, I feel like for a lot of you, this might even be a younger soul, because they are they aren't so connected to the divine. And so, you know, like they're just gonna kind of do their own thing, and they're like, okay, like I'm not gonna listen to anybody. Like I'm just gonna feel my way through life and see what happens. But because of that, at the same time, they just let bad things roll over them like water off a duck's back, you know. They're not gonna be bothered by it. They're not gonna let that hold them back, which is a very good attitude to have. There are already several women depicted here, so, and I do have more of a feminine energy here, so you might be having a daughter. But let's see here. We also have the noble one, okay? So I feel like once your child grows up, they're going to be a lot smarter, okay? You know, I feel like they're going to have a lot of lessons probably in their preteens and in their teens where they're like, oh, shoot, like I should have listened to mom or dad, or like, you know, I should have listened to my spiritual team about that one. And, you know, I feel like they're going to mature as they grow, but I feel like they're going to do it in a very, very positive way, okay? So they're not going to be like, let's say 27 and like, you know, acting out and like being immature and acting like they're 15 or anything like that. You know, I feel like they're going to act their age. You know, they might act a little immature like in their teens, but I feel like once they're like in their 20s and 30s, like they're going to be like right where they need to be. They're going to be very mature. They're going to take responsibility for things. They're going to learn from things. They're going to learn from other people. And I feel like they have a very positive vibe. Like I feel like they're going to, you know, even if they struggle with school once they're younger, like that's not always the case once you're older, you know. And I want to give you an example because I was talking to a friend about this the other day, and it interests me quite a bit. But, you know, like a lot of kids that, you know, they go to school and they struggle through school, or even if they were good at school and then they get to college and then they have a hard time as well, especially if they were having a hard time before. But, you know, that's like if they go right into college, you know. But I was talking to my friend about how we were talking about how we were both bad at middle school and high school, and we were like really bad students. Like I personally, like I was a straight F student, and it was just like, you know, like I was really depressed. I didn't want to be there. You know, I had a really hard time in school. Like they just didn't teach things the way that I learned, things like that. Like I really struggled quite a bit. But as an adult, you know, when I take classes and like educational classes and things like that, my GPA is very high. So, you know, like, and it's because like I took like 2 years off, and then I started like doing school things again. And, you know, I had a different perspective then because like, you know, I was in a different place in life. I kind of matured as well. Like my brain also matured more, and it was easier for me to understand certain things, certain concepts, and how to study and like keep it in my head and things like that. So, you know, that might be something similar that your child is going to go through. That is not going to like resonate for everybody, but some people it will. And, you know, so your child might like, you know, they might like take a break, like a year or two, like a gap year or something between college or before they want to go on to the next best thing. But I feel like in the end, they are going to be very well educated. Okay. Like the noble one, like this is a very like prestigious woman. This is a very educated woman. She's very mannerful. She's very beautiful. She's very elegant. And so I feel like that's how your child is going to end up being. Like they're going to be you know, they might start off as being like a little bit of a wild child, or like they just don't fit in. They don't let like things hold them back though. And that's the beauty of like how your child is going to be. They don't let things hold them back. And so even if they take a harder kind of route in life, like they're gonna end it on a really good note. They're gonna be able to succeed very well. We also have fleeting beauty, okay? So your child is gonna like understand that they have a very unique beauty to them, and they're just gonna be themselves. And because they're gonna be their unique selves, they're going to attract a lot of people because they are very fleeting. Like you don't really see people like that anymore. Like if you think about it, you just don't. Like even though, well, I guess you really haven't from the beginning, because, you know, we're starting to come more and more out of a conservative time. And especially like if you're like in your like late teens or early 20s watching this, and you're not going to have a child for like another 10 years or something like that. I don't know. You know, at that time, depending on where you live, that might even be more open for like a less conservative sort of lifestyle. But even so, I feel like your child is going to be extremely liberal for wherever they grow up. They're going to be very, very unique and very, very different. And because of that, I feel like they're going to attract a lot of people that are just very interested in your child, because your child is their true authentic self, or they're going to want to learn how to be their authentic self from your child, if that makes sense. But either way, like, your child is going to be known for being beautiful, and so they can have a beautiful soul, they can have a beautiful face, a beautiful aesthetic, a beautiful way in which they walk and speak and hold themselves at a high regard, which I do definitely think, like, your child is going to be extremely elegant, and they're just going to be very, very beautiful and very illuminating. Like, if they walk into a room, they're going to light up the room, basically. This is funny. All right, so your child might be a Gemini or might have Gemini in their chart, and I think it's funny because I'm definitely feeling Gemini here. I feel like, because, like, with these two cards, they're kind of they're just so different from the tarot cards that we got, right? So, your child really does they're gonna have, like, dual sides to themselves that they're gonna explore, and they're not going to be afraid to explore it. Okay, so, like, a lot of people are like, oh, Geminis are, like, so two-faced, but, like, I personally don't think they are. I just think they're not afraid to explore different aspects of themselves, and I definitely do think that is going to apply to your child. We also have the body. Okay, so your child is really going to care about their looks and how they carry themselves and how their body is, and they're really going to take care of their health as well. So I definitely do think that your child is going to be very attractive, and just very, very beautiful. And even if they're not conventionally beautiful, they're gonna really love their body. Okay, so, like, even if they grow up having weight problems, or like, they're not, like, a certain weight by society standards, or they don't look a certain way, or they don't have a certain hair color, or they have, like, tattoos or body piercings, like, whatever it is, they're gonna love their body so much, and they're gonna learn body acceptance really, really quickly and early on in their life, which I think is very valuable, because a lot of us, even as adults, we really struggle with liking certain aspects of ourselves, and I feel like your child is just really going to like themselves. They're really going to love themselves, and because of that, so many other people are going to be attracted to them, and they're going to be like, wow, like, this person is so like, this person is so confident, and, like, they feel so good in their skin, and, like, I really admire that. Like, like, your child is really going to go far in life. And then we also have increase, which is part of fortune. So I feel like even if it takes your child a little bit longer to do certain things, they're definitely going to be extremely successful, and they might even be wealthy. Okay, and so depending on what their life path number is when they're born, for some of you, your child might even start, like, their own business, or something like that, and they're going to be extremely successful in that as well. But yeah, again, I'm getting more of a feminine vibe, so I do think that most of you will probably be having a daughter, but it could be a son as well. It could be a son with more feminine aspects. Well, yeah, I feel mostly feminine, but I also feel a lot of masculinity as well. But I feel feminine in the sense of, like, I feel feminine energy when it comes to their self, okay? How they treat themselves, how they love themselves, and how they present themselves. All right, so okay, that's all I have for you guys. Before you click off, I do want to say, if you guys did miss my message in the beginning, that I do have a Halloween tarot sale for $20 for a 1-hour reading, which I will deliver to you on Halloween day or Halloween night. And readings are going fast, okay? So don't wait to schedule one. If you're interested in one, please email me down below at hollyandashtarot@gmail.com, and let's schedule something. All right, but that's all we got here today, and I hope to see you guys again soon. Bye-bye.